What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are doing basically some work on the car. This is something that I've kind of not avoided. I kind of put it off for a bit longer than I should have. But this is not going to be an exciting video. This is not going to be something that you guys are gonna love watching. But for those of you that need to do this kind of maintenance on your car, this video is gonna be super, super helpful. So you'll see that I have the car jacked up on the front passenger side. And if I zoom in with my camera here in a second, I'm gonna show you that there's a ton of just gross grime and stuff on the inside of the wheel. And as soon as I take this wheel off, you're gonna see even more down on the suspension components and the control arms and whatnot. So if you guys haven't guessed yet, I busted one of my CV boots on the axle. So I'll go into a little bit later why that happened. Sometimes this happens just from objects on the road, just over time, things like this happen. So this is not the case. I actually did something that caused this to occur. So I do have two different Subaru parts here that I'm gonna put the part numbers down in the description. I have one here and then I have the other right here. And these are your CV boot or the axle boot rebuild kits. Comes with all the new snap rings, new clamps, and then also new grease to go and fill inside. Of course, new boots as well. So what we're gonna be doing today, popping this wheel off. We're gonna set that aside. We're actually gonna clean the inside of the barrel to get all of the old grease that have been flung out from the broken boot. We're gonna get that out. And then we're going to be removing the axle itself and then taking the entire axle out, putting it up on a workbench and replacing both boots and then putting it back in. So that's what we're doing today. Make sure you guys watch all the way to the end because we got some cool stuff. It's always cool seeing it before and after. So yeah, let's get into it. So this is the result. This is all just a layer of grease on the inside of the wheel here. All the result from one little torn boot. And yeah. So I actually make sure I have the right axle nut size. I believe this is a 32. We got my big impact gun, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. But yeah. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but just look at, I'm gonna show you guys a close up of the suspension components, but look how grimy this is just from all that axle grease spraying everywhere. So I'm gonna have to degrease these, pretty much all the components. I got some simple green as your friend, and I got a bunch of microfibers, so we'll be working on that. So we're actually gonna keep that bolt in to hold up the faceless knuckle. So while we undo this, the axle nut down here, it'll still be supported. And then once this is off, then we can pull that down or release this bolt out so the entire assembly can fall down. And then we can punch this, the end of the spindle back out of the back of the hub. All right, now we just have to punch out the front of the axle, essentially. Let's do a 9/16. pretty much all the way out now. So I just need to make sure I'm careful here and not drop this hub face on myself. So the axle is out of the back of the hub face. Now we just need to crawl under there and pry the back of the axle out. So it's time's right about now when I wish I had a GoPro so I could show you guys this. A little cramped, but we're gonna be just prying the axle out. Let's see if I can actually get a good angle of this. One thing to remember is there is transmission fluid in there, so maybe I shouldn't put the camera right below it, but I don't think I have really any other way. It's right in the way. Oh, there we go. Cool. Oh, I just dripped fluid right onto my camera. All right, so let's take a look at this axle right here. So the tear wasn't huge. Let's see. Yeah, I believe it's right somewhere in there. But it was enough to coat pretty much everything. Back of my caliper, suspension components, all super nasty and greasy. So yeah, let's get the axle opened up and I'll show you guys how to start replacing it, or replacing both of these boots actually. Finally! These things are such a pain in the ass. But these kits come with replacement ones, so doesn't matter too much. Let's see if this one's a little less beefy. This is your axle grease, and it is very gross and viscous stuff. So we are just going to be as careful as possible to not get any of that on us or on our tools. There we go. Okay, so there should be a snap ring on the inside here. Let's see if you guys can see that. One little snap ring that goes right in there. Like this. So I'm gonna put that in the axle boot for now, and this should roll right out just like that. All right, So there should be 1 bearing, 2 bearing, and 3 bearings. And there's another snap ring right in there. And I can see it right at the end there. Simple. And then we're just going to slide this piece off and put it with our bearings. It is completely off. We can actually take this entire shift boot, or not the shift boot, but the entire boot off here. Let's get this ring out. And we can just slide that off. So this is the old boot, and we can actually probably reuse that because this one is fine. So I'm gonna wipe this down, make sure that it is in, you know, good working order. What this looks like it's gonna want to do is just slide right down all the way off. All right, and now we are pretty much all set. So here's the kit for the hub side. It comes with the new boot. It comes with grease and both of the metal fittings that we'll need. All the way down. Sorry about there. Now I'm gonna leave that off because we still need to fill this. So this looks like quite the mess, but this is the tool that I was missing. They're just rounded nose pliers for pinch clamps. It's just to get this little clamp closed, so hopefully this will work. Get that crimp started with the little guy and then take this big guy. Let's see if I can actually, oh yeah. There we go. So that is done right there. So now we're going to pop the top off and try to fill the inside with our supplied grease right here. And we're just putting all this fresh new grease. Now we get our new clamp. Going over the top. So we're on to kit number 2, which is the hub side. So it comes with everything you need, the new boot, everything. I'm only going to be reusing the clamps, and I'm going to be saving, and the grease. I'm going to be saving all the other stuff for in case I need it. End on end, maybe. There we go. There we go. That's the sound you want to hear. So this is going to be very hard to film, but there's the differential. And here is the piece that needs to go into it. So everyone says online, make sure you grease this pretty well because this little snap ring here is hard to get back in. So we'll see how that goes. Now comes the fun part of getting the axle, which is right here, back into the back of the hub. Now we just take our hammer and screwdriver and push this indentation back in. And because I am nervous, I always like putting, on big bolts like that, I always like putting extra marks, just so I know exactly where it is. Cool. So let's look at, really quick, the inside of this wheel, because it is absolutely nasty. There's just this layer of grease and a bunch of rock sticking, and basically gunk and dirt and debris is sticking to the inside of the wheel. So what we're gonna do is degrease this. I'm just using normal hose. Power washer isn't gonna do much to this, so we're gonna be using Simple Green and some brushes to get all this gunk out and get this wheel all cleaned up. Pretty much the only way I know how, so. Oh yeah. So, everything went pretty smoothly. Wheel is on and nice and cleaned. Everything is degreased. The boots, both the inner and outer, are all tightened back up. Everything is back on. There's nothing that holds these bolts, the actual axle in. except for the axle nut, which goes right here. That is a 165 foot-pound torque setting, and then you just want to make sure you put the indentation back in behind this cap here. So I was able to do that with my impact wrench, or my my torque wrench, and then the 2 bolts on the back that hold the hub back into your suspension. You gotta make sure those are back in place also. And then once the wheel's on, you gotta torque your lug nuts down. So I'm going to take it for a little drive. If there are any issues, I'll pop right back on the camera here and let you guys know, but it's pretty straightforward. The axles, you know, they can only go in one way, and it's not like you need to perfectly align them with like the, you know, a part of the transmission or something like that. It's all-wheel drive, so they're always moving at different speeds all the time. They're all 4 corners, so it doesn't really matter too much. So again, I'm gonna take it, put it in reverse, get it up to speed, make sure I get everything up to temperature, and then I'm gonna check to make sure that you know, there's no grinding noises, there's no fluid leaking out anywhere. So yeah, all in all, it's a pretty messy install, but definitely worth it. Keeping my car healthy is definitely worth it in the long run. So very happy. It's the end of the day, and thank you guys so much for watching. Again, not very exciting, but you know, these are the kind of stuff that if you're really into your car and you want to save a good amount of money, you can do this. You know, the boot kits were like 20 bucks each, so 50 bucks totals in parts. Total in parts, whereas, you know, if I went to a dealership or a service shop, the entire, you know, process would cost $400, $500, $600 bucks. So save myself a good amount of money, and I'm keeping this car healthy for the future. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week.